Welcome back to another episode of Pre-Purchase, the show where we give you straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. I'm Jasmeet. Today we're talking about Invincible Versus. Invincible is one of those properties that's just perfect for a fighting game. It's a mashup of superhero antics, Dragon Ball Z levels of power escalation, and a generous splash of ultra-violence. The comic and the TV show are full of titanic throwdowns between a huge cast of distinct, memorable characters. Honestly, it already feels like Marvel Cross with Mortal Kombat. So why not make a game that actually does it? Enter Invincible Versus. Invincible Versus is developed by Quarter Up, an internal studio at Skybound Entertainment, the rights holders to Robert Kirkman's biggest properties. Their stated goal is to make a fighting game that's a little more casual-friendly than the average bear. That sounds foolhardy for a new studio's first attempt, but they brought in core members from the now-defunct Double Helix, the team behind the surprisingly great 2013 Killer Instinct reboot. So, what's the actual fighting like? Let's start with the good. The combat is very fun. It's a full-on 3v3 tag fighter, most similar to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but with simplified inputs. There's a standardized special button shared by all characters that only requires a single direction to pull off, a bit Smash Bros. Style. In theory, this evens the playing field between pros and newbies. In practice, it mostly makes it easier for skilled players to bring their fundamentals over and dominate. The combat system is less about footsies and positioning and more about landing massive, disgusting combos. Full combo degeneracy is highly encouraged. You can and will get obliterated if you don't grasp the mechanics, but that's part of the appeal. Mastering when to use combo breakers and how to counter character swaps is essential. There's real depth here, though hitboxes and attack priorities can feel a little awkward. It's a new fighter from a new team, and it shows. One mechanic that's going to be divisive is sudden death. In most fighting games, if the timer runs out, the player with the most remaining health wins. Not here. Instead, you're forced into sudden death, a 1v1 between the two active characters. Their health bars are partially restored from their remaining teammates, and both players take constant damage over time until someone wins. This means you can have a huge lead going into the timeout and still lose. Let's talk about the single-player offerings. Story mode is well done, fully animated cutscenes that use the show's art style. Most of the TV cast returns, including J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man. Steven Yeun is a no-show. Invincible is played by a sound-alike who does a decent job. The story itself is a solid filler episode, but it's only an hour long. That's not I want more because it's so good, it's that wasn't enough. Outside of story, the content is thin. You get arcade mode, a ladder of fights with short, occasionally amusing endings. You get local versus in online. That's it. No survival mode. No combo trials. No character guides. The tutorial ends at intermediate, clearly unfinished. The roster has 18 characters, which is decent, but for a 3v3 fighter, you need variety. For Viltrumites, a few to many not invincible types like Bulletproof and Powerplex. That said, there are some genuine highlights. Battle Beast is an excellent pick, a pure rushdown monster. Cecil Stedman is a unique summoner type who uses minions and long-range weapons to fight for him. And the game even introduces a new character, Ella Elemental Mental, designed by comic artist Ryan Otley. She fits right in. Data miners have found voice files suggesting many fan-favorite characters are already planned as DLC. Online is where you'll spend most of your time, and it works, mostly. Rollback netcode is present, and matches are generally smooth. I notice a little hitching here and there, nothing catastrophic. Rage quitting is fairly common. People get blown up and just leave. But that's online fighters for you. The bigger issue is the lack of online modes. It's just standard 3v3 ranked and casual. No lobbies, no tournaments, no replay takeover. For a $50 game in 2026, that's light. Visually, the game is solid. The character models capture the clean, simple designs of the comic and show. They're not as detailed as Guilty Gear Strive, but that's intentional. Level 5 supers look fantastic, and backgrounds deform from titanic clashes. The UI is clean and easy to navigate, which goes a long way for me. And the little cartoon versions of characters on loading screens are charming. They fit the show's wildly shifting tone between goofy comedy and horrifying violence. And yes, this game is violent with a capital V. In story mode, it's toned down because you can't kill everyone and have them alive in the next cutscene. But in arcade and versus, you're often straight up killing your opponents in gruesome ways. The good news is you can turn the gore off, which we're doing here for obvious monetization reasons. But on default settings, expect buckets of blood. It's very invincible. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. Invincible Versus costs $50. For that, you get a 1-hour story, bare bones modes, and an 18-character roster that feels a little small for 3v3 costume DLC already, which is more expensive than Street Fighter 6's costumes, and those require way more animation work. It feels like a Season 0 release, a solid foundation that needs more building. I wish it launched at $35, with a gradual price increase as content was added. Knowing the team's track record from Killer Instinct, I do expect them to fill out the game over time. New characters, new modes, maybe even story chapters. Free updates would go a long way, finishing the tutorial, adding survival mode, giving us combo trials. But that's not guaranteed. If the game isn't successful, none of that happens. So recommending it now is tricky. For die-hard Invincible fans, it's an easy sell. You'll love seeing these characters in motion. So, who is Invincible Versus for right now? If you're an Invincible super fan, you'll probably love it. The authenticity is there, the combat captures the feel of the show, and the voice acting mostly delivers. If you're a casual fighting game fan looking for a new button masher, you'll have fun, especially if you jump in during launch week while the online is flooded with other newbies. To put it in perspective, this launch is not as bare as Street Fighter V was. That game had almost no single-player content and broken online. Invincible Versus at least works online and has a short but polished story. It's closer to the Killer Instinct reboot, a strong core that got better over time. But Key also launched at a lower price point. So if you're on the fence, maybe wait a few months. See if the developer delivers on free updates. See if the community sticks around. I like Invincible Versus. The combat feels good, slightly stiff, like Mortal Kombat, which suits me. The mechanics are simple to understand but challenging to master. It's a respectful first attempt from an untested studio. But the value proposition is off. For $35, I'd say buy it without hesitation. $50, it's a hard sell unless you're a die-hard fan or you really want to get in on the ground floor of a growing competitive scene. What do you think? Are you picking this up, or waiting for more content? Leave a comment if you like this pre-purchase. Hit that like button. Not subscribed. Now's a great time. We upload every day. I'm Jasmeet. We'll see you next time, right here on Visgams.